Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I have not made a video in way too long, and that's because I kind of didn't want to. I had nothing that I really wanted to talk about, at least here. I think a lot of you know that over on my Patreon, I do videos about things like what's going on in my life, but I assume that maybe not too many of you care about that, and you just want to hear what's his opinion on, the Zelda movie or whatever. So that's the topic of this video. And yeah, I'm way overdue. I meant to make this video a month ago and never did because I just straight up had too much stuff going on. And also, in case you can't hear, I've been very sick. And then even after not being very sick I was very sick for like almost a month. I think it was just COVID. I don't know. I did not take the test because why? Anyway, so I then, even after not being sick anymore, my voice just keeps going out or sounds crazy. So how can you make a video if you don't have any voice? So that's been interesting. But anyways, I digress. Let's talk about the Zelda movie and why it's probably not going to suck. So when it was announced, at first I thought it was a hoax. At first I thought, no way, Nintendo's not going to allow somebody to make a Zelda movie. It's one thing to make a cartoony, goofy, fun Mario movie, because then you can make the animators adhere to the character models of the games and the color palette of the games and things like that. You can make sure that all of this music, and it's much easier to control something like a Mario movie, but a Zelda, a live action, that was the other thing. A live action Zelda movie. I thought if they were ever going to make a Zelda movie, it would probably be CGI or animation. Like we all kind of dream about a Studio Ghibli Zelda movie, and keep that feather in your cap. That's not a phrase. Keep that pin. Let's put a pin in that. That's the phrase I'm looking for, because it is basically going to be a Studio Ghibli movie, and I'll explain why. Even though it's live action. So, anyways, my point is, I kind of didn't feel too good about the announcement. I kind of thought, oh no, this could be really bad. And it's going to be fine because it won't matter, because we'll just keep playing the games and a movie is irrelevant to playing the games. So who cares? But I can't keep thinking that I can't help thinking about the stupid Super Mario movie from the 90s or whatever, that even as a kid, yes, I'm that old, so that when that trailer came out, I was a kid. And when I was a kid and saw that trailer, I thought, gross, what is this? This has nothing to do with Mario. This isn't what Mario looks like. And I was so worried that that's what a live-action Zelda movie would be. Now, that fear is tempered by the fact that Miyamoto, and Nintendo in general, are very aware of their previous mistakes with licensing out things like the Mario movie, for instance. Even the Mario cartoon, to some degree, it's fine, but whatever. And the Zelda cartoon, I mean, it was nostalgic for me as a kid, but I as a kid, again, this is how old I am, when the Super Mario Brothers Super Show was on the air, I couldn't wait for Fridays, because on a Friday, that meant that the Super Mario Brothers Super Show was going to show a Zelda cartoon. Not two little Mario cartoons, but a Zelda cartoon, and that was so exciting. So excuse me, viewers, but I liked it. Now, of course, we have all kinds of new Zelda lore that's been developed after, post-Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, so the cartoon doesn't really feel cohesive to that stuff anymore. But back then, when all we had was Legend of Zelda and The Adventure of Link, the cartoon made sense in that context back then, because we didn't have the silent protagonist, we didn't have... It just wasn't... Zelda wasn't as developed back then. It could have been anything. So anyways, I'm babbling. The point is, we now have word of an official Zelda movie, and we have a director. And at first, when I heard about this director's previous credits, I was like, oh no, that's who they're trusting? But this is where things get good. That previous director, I'm sure you've all been quoted, you're all aware of the quotes. He has tweeted 11 years ago or something like that. And by the way, take all my facts with a grain of salt. I didn't spend any time researching this. I don't have a cheat sheet saying his name. I have no idea what his name is. I don't have a cheat sheet saying exactly what his tweet was or when it came out. Do your research. Don't trust me. But this is what I remember from reading. And And that's the only way this video is going to get made. If I required myself to go do that stuff, I would not have made this video because I just don't care enough about it. But I read this tweet from him from 11 years ago or something like that, saying they would never trust me to make a Zelda movie, but if I was able to make a Zelda movie, I would. And then what he said was pretty interesting, and I think that's what we're going to get, and I'll get to that in just a second. So that was interesting to me. Then the other thing is that he and Aonuma, I never know if I'm pronouncing his name right, the main producer behind the Zelda series ever since Ocarina of Time, they have been talking about a Zelda movie, the concept of this guy doing a Zelda movie, for a decade. That's pretty exciting. So it's not just him having a harebrained scheme out of nowhere, like them just being like, we need a Zelda movie. Hey, you rando, why don't you do... No, this guy has been talking with Aonuma for a decade about what would a Zelda movie even be. So they've had a decade of planning already. So that is exciting. Now, the third thing. Okay, let's get back to the first thing that he said in that tweet, which was that, in his opinion, the correct way to do a Zelda movie is a blend of live action and CGI, basically, or mocap stuff. That, in his opinion, the way you do a Zelda movie, and again, correct me in the comments if I got this wrong, and you've read the tweet and you have the tweet right in front of you, but it sounded to me like what he was saying is he wanted to take what they were doing in Lord of the Rings with Gollum, for instance, and apply that to the entire movie. So it's all mocap, it's all painted backgrounds and CGI, but with real actors driving the characters. So we can still have Link looking exactly like he does in the games, no matter who they cast him as. They could cast Arnold Schwarzenegger as Link, and it wouldn't really matter. I mean, that would be terrible, obviously, but they could, and it wouldn't matter because it wouldn't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It would still look like our Twinkie Link that we're so used to. So, that's exciting. And then the other really, really exciting thing is he says that, now a recent tweet from him, is that he plans on making this movie as if it was a live action Studio Ghibli movie. So he's in the fan base enough to know that we have all dreamed of Studio Ghibli animating a Zelda movie. We're not going to get that, but we are going to get a live action movie that looks and feels like a Studio Ghibli movie, and the only way to really do that is to, again, link that back to the first tweet that he had posted 11 years ago or whatever, where he said, let's just CGI the whole thing. So it's going to be live action, but it's going to be live action that's painted. You know what I mean? It's going to be live action that looks like a Studio Ghibli movie. At least that's what I'm getting from it. What are you guys getting from it? You let me know in the comments down below in case I got these tweets wrong, because I didn't reread them since I first read them. But that's why I am so excited now. I was, to be honest, I was not so excited when I first heard about a live-action Zelda movie. If I was a 5-year-old or 11-year-old, I would have been over the moon, but I'm cynical and jaded now, and I have seen what can happen to adaptations of things that aren't well thought through, and this, now that we've got these 3 pieces, sounds really well thought through. So anyways, I'm super stoked. I cannot wait to see all the pieces of this. I want to follow every step along the way, honestly. I want to see who they cast as Link, because again, it doesn't really matter. But Tom Holland, that's his name, right? Seems like a decent choice, and all the fans are like, please, for the love of God, Tom Holland. Who was it? It wasn't Machine Gun Kelly, right? But it was somebody else, or maybe it was Machine Gun Kelly, who was like, they would be fools if they didn't cast me. And it's like, you are not an actor, and you don't look anything like Link. I don't know. Anyway, but even he would be fine if the concept of it is basically mocap. But then they're like going to base it on the person's face to some degree and stuff like that, just like they did with Gollum in Lord of the Rings. So anyways, I'm babbling now. I just wanted to come on here and say I'm really excited, and I cannot wait for a Zelda movie now that I know that it's apparently in very good hands. Clearly a huge fan, somebody who's been thinking about this for more than a decade, and somebody who knows what the fans want, and that's for it to look like what we have expected a Zelda movie to look like, which is kind of Studio Ghibli-ish. Because let's be real, recent iterations of the Zelda games, especially starting with Breath of the Wild, are clearly a little bit ripping off Studio Ghibli. Even previous Zelda games. Somebody has made a whole video about so many of the Zelda games and how there are little pieces here and there borrowed from Studio Ghibli. So, anyways, I'm super excited. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I've been babbling. See you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.